Let us begin by leaving the ground, not in a metaphorical sense, but in a visceral, physical one. Imagine the engines igniting, the roar of chemical fire pushing against gravity, the shaking of the cabin as you punch a hole through the atmosphere. You are rising. The clouds, which once loomed over your head as vast gray ceilings, are now below you, reduced to textures like cotton spread across a blue table. The sky changes color. It shifts from the familiar azure of a summer day to a deep indigo, then to a bruised violet, and finally abruptly to black. The engine cuts off. The vibration stops. The silence that follows is not like any silence on Earth. It is not the quiet of a library or a forest. It is the vacuum silence, the absolute absence of sound. You are floating. You are now an astronaut, and you have achieved the first stage of the overview effect. Look out the window. Below you lies the Earth. From this low orbit, it is huge, curving away in every direction. You can see the geography you learned in school, but the lines are missing. There are no borders drawn in ink. There are no different colors for different countries. There is only the land, brown and green, and the water, dazzlingly blue. You see the thin, fragile ribbon of the atmosphere, a glowing blue halo that shields every living thing from the freezing void. It looks terrifyingly thin, like the skin of an apple. But we must go further. Low Earth orbit is too close. You are still connected to the planet's size. To truly understand your place, we must pull back. Let us accelerate. Let us engage the thrusters and push away from the gravity well. The Earth begins to shrink. It transforms from a landscape into a sphere. The moon slides past your window, a desolate, cratered gray companion, silent and watchful. But we do not stop there. We are traveling at the speed of Voyager, moving at nearly 40,000 miles per HR, heading for the edge of the solar system. As we coast through the dark, the Sunday, which dominates our sky on Earth, begins to recede. It becomes smaller, though its light remains fierce and piercing. We pass the orbit of Mars, the rusty red pebble spinning in the cold. We glide past the asteroid belt, the debris of a planet that never was. We sail past the majesty of Jupiter, with its swirling storms and radiation belts, and the serene beauty of Saturn, its rings a perfect mathematical equation written in ice and rock. Time behaves differently here. On Earth, time is measured in meetings, traffic lights, and deadlines. Here, time is measured in orbits, in the slow, majestic dance of celestial mechanics. The urgency of a Tuesday morning simply evaporates in the vacuum. There is no latent space. There is only geometry and trajectory. We travel for years. The planets behind us have become points of light, indistinguishable from the background stars to the naked eye. We are now billions of kilometers from home. The Sunday is just a particularly bright star in the distance, no longer providing warmth, just a cold electric light. Now stop. Turn the ship around. This is the moment. The date is the 14th of February, 1990. The spacecraft is Voyager 1, and it is about to shut down its cameras forever to save power. But before it sleeps, it takes one last look back. It snaps a series of photos, 60 of them stitching together a mosaic of the solar system. Look at the image. At first it looks like nothing. It is a grainy, noisy picture, full of scattered light and digital artifacts. There are bands of color, rays of sunlight scattering off the camera's optics. And there, caught in one of those scattered rays, a sunbeam suspended in the dark, is a speck. It is a tiny pixelated dot. It is pale blue. It is smaller than a grain of sand held at arm's length. That is us. Stare at that dot. Force your mind to comprehend what you are seeing. That pixel is not just a rock. That is here. That is home. That is us. On that mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. Everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you have ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust. Now think of your day. Think of the thing that made you angry yesterday. Maybe it was a rude comment. Maybe it was a traffic jam. Maybe it was a mistake at work. Hold that anger in your hand. Now look at the dot. From this distance, your anger is invisible. It is happening on a microscopic fraction of a pixel. The person who offended you, they are an invisible organism on an invisible rock. The deadline that is keeping you awake at night. It is a concept invented by a species of primates on a grain of sand. The border disputes, the wars, the arguments over resources. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that, in glory and triumph, they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. The universe does not know about your deadline. The Andromeda Galaxy does not care about your embarrassing memory from high school. The black holes spinning in the dark do not acknowledge your bank account balance. This is not meant to make you feel worthless. It is meant to make you feel free. There's a terrible crushing weight to being human. We walk around carrying the heavy burden of our own importance. We think the world watches us. We think our mistakes are catastrophes. We think our anxieties are the center of the universe. But the pale blue dot offers us a release from this ego. If you are just a way for the cosmos to know itself briefly waking up on a tiny world, then the pressure is off. You are not the protagonist of a tragedy. You are a traveler on a miracle. The very fact that you exist, that you can look at this image and understand it, is a statistical impossibility. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings. How eager they are to kill one another. How fervent their hatreds. From out here, 6 billion kilometers away, those hatreds look absurd. The distinctions we make, rich and poor, successful and failing, famous and unknown, dissolve into the unity of the sphere. Space is the ultimate equalizer. It does not judge. It simply is. And in its vastness, it offers a form of forgiveness. Imagine you are floating outside the ship now, tethered only by a thin cord. The silence is absolute. You are looking at that tiny blue point. It looks fragile. It looks lonely. In all this vast obscurity, in all this endless dark, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. But there is also no hint that the universe demands your stress. The universe demands only your existence. It asks you to witness. Take a deep breath. Imagine the air in your lungs. That air is held to the surface of that tiny dot by a thin layer of gravity. You are safe within that bubble. But your mind can be here, out in the quiet. When you look at the world from this distance, the noise of modern life fades away. The notifications on your phone, the breaking news, the clamor of the markets, they cannot reach you here. They are radio waves that dissipate into the background static of the Big Bang. You can let it go. You can put down the heavy suitcase of your worries. You can leave it on the launch pad. Think of the sunbeam that illuminates the earth in the photo. It is just light. Light traveling for 8 minutes from a star to hit a rock. You are bathing in that same light. You are part of the energy of the solar system. You are not separate from this vastness. You are a child of it. So, the next time you feel the walls closing in, the next time the anxiety feels like a tight collar around your throat, close your eyes, zoom out, past the roof, past the clouds, past the moon, fly out to Saturn, turn around, and look for the speck. Remind yourself, I am on the dot. It is a humble position, but it is a peaceful one. It means that your problems, while real to you, are not structural damages to the fabric of reality. The universe is intact. The stars are still burning. The galaxies are still spinning. You have not broken anything. You are just experiencing a moment on the blue world. There is a kindness in this indifference. It means you are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to be imperfect. You are allowed to rest, because in the grand scheme of billions of years and trillions of miles, your only job is to live, to breathe, to be kind to the other inhabitants of that fragile pixel. Drifting here, in the shadow of the outer planets, the Earth looks like a candle flame in a dark room. It is precious because it is rare, but it is small. Let its smallness comfort you. You are not the weight of the world. You are just a passenger on it. And as we turn the ship back around facing the deep, endless field of stars that stretches into infinity, we realize that we are not flying away from meaning. We are flying towards perspective. We are carrying the knowledge of the dot with us. The silence of space is not empty. It is a canvas, and on that canvas we paint our lives. Let us paint them with less fear. Let us paint them with the calm assurance of someone who knows just how small and how beautiful the stage really is. Float on. The void is holding you. The stars are your witnesses, and the earth, that lovely, tiny, pale blue dot, is waiting for you to come home lighter than when you left.